Now the Spirit expressly says that in the later days some will depart from the faith, devoting themselves to deceitful spirits and the doctrines of demons, through the insincerity of liars whose consciences are seared. And if you look throughout society, all the people that are promoted and given a platform, they're living with seared consciences. Sometimes people, when they're brought in to the entertainment industry, to the political arena, wherever they are, if they have talent, if they have knowledge, if they have charisma, they will be elevated. And the more they're willing to sell out and allow their consciences to be seared with it, the higher they'll be promoted, the more of a platform they'll be given. We see that, and you see all these celebrity deaths, and there's just so many things. I won't get into rabbit trails on conspiracy theories, but there are no coincidences. And when you see people who have seen behind the curtain of Hollywood, of the entertainment industry, and there's so many similar deaths, and so often it revolves around drugs. Now drugs, I'm always talking about being of sober mind. There's a reason why we're told again and again in the Word of God to be of sober mind, because when you're not of sober mind, you're not going to think soberly. You're not going to make good decisions. You're going to be that much more controllable, that much more easily led in to a life of sin and debauchery. And a lot of times you're led into those things as a gateway, and then either your conscience will tell you that's wrong and you shouldn't have done that, and you'll take drugs initially being given to them to numb that conscience, to numb that pain, and then you just slowly give into it more and more, and you take the drugs, you take the alcohol, you take all the stimulants to quite literally make it easier to live with yourself for the things that you do. There's a lot of people that have a lot of dark secrets in Hollywood, and a lot of times their conscience will start bearing witness to them, because our conscience is a God-given gift. God's law is written on our heart. It speaks to us through our conscience. So when you see a lot of these celebrities, it's not always what you think it is. It's like they found all these drugs in his room, blah, blah, blah. It's always the same old story. So many celebrities. It's so easy to manufacture a scene. Somebody might have a drug habit because they're running from the things that they did, and they want to numb the pain of what they're having to live with and what they're unable to tell people because of the level of control in the entertainment industry. So they can't just tell people because people won't believe them. They'll think they're crazy. There's death threats on them, their family members. There's so many levels of control that a lot of people just would never understand unless you've at least seen or experienced it to some degree, to realize just how real it is, just how real the devil is, and how much he is in control of things in this world. God has ultimate sovereignty. He allows these things to happen because without free will, there is no love. The gift of love, it's not possible without free will, and that free will is being used to satisfy the lust of the flesh. And anyone who's willing to give into that is given platitudes. It's given platforms in this world. It's given wealth. It's given fame. It's given all the things that Jesus turned down in the desert. That's why we have to be so careful not to allow our conscience to be seared. Once you give in a little bit here to get a little bit there, it becomes easier and easier. When you look the other way of something that's happening to somebody because you're getting a kickback from somebody and you don't want to disrupt that, you have a nice job, you don't want to say anything about an injustice that's happening to somebody you work with. As soon as you start making these allowances to protect something you have in this world, status, money, relationships, whatever, you're slowly allowing your conscience to be seared. And it's happening at a great level right now, all across the globe. So they don't want us to care about one another. And when you realize that the P. Diddy's and all the people that he's associated with, all the celebrities, all the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, how connected so many powers in this world are. People wouldn't sleep at night if they truly understood. And yet they're demonizing Christians for standing up for godly values. Just take a second to think about that if you haven't. Because I'm not here to preach hate when I'm talking about godly values, standing up for the unborn, standing up for what a marriage is supposed to be. Because those things were put in place by God to protect us from ourselves. Because we're spiraling into oblivion by departing from God's laws, which were meant to protect us. When we allow things that weren't supposed to be normal under God's natural law to become normal, it's because of a seared conscience collectively, and it's separating people from God and the free gift of salvation through forgiveness through the blood of Christ that is available when you accept him. But if you allow your conscience to be seared, you will not ask for that forgiveness, and you probably won't offer it to anybody that needs it. So just be aware. It's a dark world, but there's hope always in the darkness through Jesus Christ. I pray you seek him out today. God bless. See you tomorrow.